Dr. Mark Pitstick. Welcome to topic number 7 for the course, Greater Reality Living, 5 Keys to Knowing and Showing the Great News, Creating the Greatest Life You've Envisioned, Sharing Your Special Talents, and Making Our World a Better Place. For optimal benefits, please watch videos for topics number 1 through 6 before this one. This topic is entitled, Share Your Special Talents and Make Our World a Better Place. This is the S in the acronym LIVES or LIVES. This is the 5th of the 5 keys for Greater Reality Living. Again, share your special talents, make our world a better place. Doing this allows you to improve every aspect of your life, so it directly helps you. You'll experience more peace, joy, love, fulfillment, and other higher energies, emotions, and ways of being than you can likely imagine. And also it will help others in our planet, so everybody wins. Both provide meaning and fulfillment that so many people seek, and both are natural expressions of your higher self, what we came here to do. We feel best when we're doing these things. Some people have wondered what would it take to awaken a sufficient number of people to make positive, major differences in our world. The answer is surprisingly simple. Follow your highest calling. Share your special talents. Give your greatest gifts. Do what interests and excites you. And as more and more people do that, the pieces of the world's puzzle come together. As a youth, I thought that only ministers could, quote, have a calling. I remember when I first heard about that, I was like, have a calling? Well, that sounds like a really important thing. But now I realize that any job, any life work, hobby, service that you do that nourishes your soul, helps others, and makes our world a better place is a calling. You don't have to work long and hard at it. Just follow your heart and share your special gifts, even part-time. And that makes such a difference. That formula applied by enough people is sufficient to make our world a better place, to help others, to solve the problems that seem so overwhelming. So remember, and if that vision seems too big for you, remember the collective power of all these people are awakening, near-death experiencers, shining light parents, people who have had spiritually transformative experiences, the 15%ers who are more intermediate and advanced souls or have higher levels of energy. As mentioned, they often quickly, profoundly, and lastingly reorder their priorities, have more compassion, and help others. So that's a literal army of people around the world. Remember all the powerful organizations that exist. Humanities Team, IANS, the International Association of Near-Death Studies, IONS, the Institute of Noetic Sciences, Gaia, the Shift Network, Dr. Joe Dispenza's group, and there are others. Recall the Predictable Impact next year as the Soul Phone Project, Dr. Gary Schwartz and others, publicly announce scientific proof of life after death and demonstrate communication technology with post-material persons. That's going to have a huge effect. People who are kind of on the fence or half awake will be like, oh my gosh, this is real. That'll be a sign to them that it's time to get with it. So your involvement and that of people you share this information with could be the tipping point. We can reach a relative utopia in the near future. My goal is by the year 2030, 6 years away, 5.5, that's doable. As George Burns, as creator in one of my favorite movies, Oh God, said, this is coming from God, tell everybody I set the world up so it can work. I gave you a world and everything in it. Now it's up to you. So we have everything we need within and without. Are we enough of us going to awaken to that and make it happen? I like to share a Buddhist chant that I've used for 45 years. The words are Gate, Gate, Pada Gate, Pada Sum Gate, Buddhi Swaha. And my interpretation of those words are go far, that is, in your heart and mind, open your heart and mind, go even farther, go as far as you can, and you realize how beautiful life is. It's all the Buddha, it's all God, it's all life, it's all love. So I will chant that 3 rounds, and then I'll just leave a minute or 2 of silence where you can sit with that and get in touch with this very powerful point that we're talking about. How can you share your special gifts and make the world a better place? So here we go. You might want to close your eyes and relax. Breathe slowly and deeply. Gate, Gate, Pada Gate, Pada Sum Gate, Buddhi Swaha. Gate, Gate, Pada Gate, Pada Sum Gate, Buddhi Swaha. Gate, Gate, Pada Gate, Pada Sum Gate, Buddhi Swaha. Okay. So as you use it, one way to use it is to say it aloud a few times like I did, then more quietly, and then internalize it so it's just going on in your head. I've literally used that chant for hours at a time on long drives, and for me at least, there's no concern about focusing on the road because it puts me in a hyper state of awareness. And ideally, it's also breath work because you sing all that and with one deep breath. So highly recommend that you use that. Now, some other things about this topic. Remember that you're not alone in this mission of sharing your special talents and making the world a better place. Remember that you get much guidance, assistance, and love from, first of all, your kindred spirits, people in your tribe, in your inner circle. That may be family or may not. Next, the organizations to join we just mentioned and work with, and again, those are listed in the resources PDF. And your spiritual support team and the light. Again, spiritual support team referring to your angels, guides, master teachers. soulmates, and other highly evolved ones. I'll share an experience I had recently, 9 months ago. I had pneumonia. I was on a flight and picked something up, and I was really sick. And I was starting to take a nap. I had a shamanic healing. I mentioned before the shaman's heart. This wonderful technique that I use. And I also was getting acupuncture at the time. And so I'm doing all these things. So I set an intention to heal quickly and thoroughly from this time where I was resting and all the other. Well, within minutes, I was in that hypnagogic state, meaning where in between sleeping and wakefulness. And in my mind's eye, I saw that I was surrounded by 3 beings, kind of look like aliens, but very loving beings of light. And they were working on me, and they were healing me. One touched an area where I felt the most congestion in my chest, and I felt that warm touch. Others were working up here in the left temporal area where I had a bunch of sinus congestion. Well, at some point I felt that they were doing psychic surgery, that is, cutting out pieces of bone to allow drainage. And again, understand that this is all, on an energetic level. And then I saw in my field of vision, again with my eyes closed, that they were arranging these, quote, pieces of bone in shapes, and I realized they were forming words. And the letters spelled out, act as a team. Oh, this happened on 11/11/23. And I have it written out where I will see it often, act as a team. So that was for me, a deeper commitment to, awareness of, working with my team. I don't have to do this alone. I have huge goals, obviously. But remember, and for you also, you have that team. Some other thoughts about reaching this lofty vision, making our world a better place. Don't be discouraged because of the seeming immensity of the task and your apparent limited ability to help. And I recommend posting this statement I found years ago. It is among the greatest of all mistakes to do nothing because you can only do a little. That's a powerful one. So again, I recommend you write it down where you can see it. Also, don't judge yourself for not doing more. Humans are often so self-critical, and we minimize the impact and the importance of what we do, and we fear that our best isn't good enough. So here's a joke to help you remember this. This is a guy who had just passed on, and he's standing in line at the pearly gates to hear the news from St. Peter. And so he's next in line, and he realized the person in front of him was Mother Teresa. You know how much she did while on earth. And he hears St. Peter saying, Terry, you really could have done more while you're on earth. Anyway, that's kind of a fear of people, conscious or unconscious. So just refute that and know that do the best you can, and that's enough. And that will also change over time. The Australian Aborigines, had a saying, if you help just one person, it's a good life. Anthropologist Margaret Mead, PhD, said, never doubt that a small, committed group of people can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. Wow, another one to write out and post. So powerful. And I'm going to put these key quotes in the PDF resources as well, so you'll have them. So here we are in this new moment. Are you ready to put your new knowledge, strategies, and resources to work? I hope so. And remember what A-team members, Drs. Albert Einstein and David Bohm, told me via a top research evidential medium about the Greater Reality Living formula, the LIVES formula. Just to refresh your memory, I asked them, how can we create peace on earth? And Albert said, I noticed it's pretty much the same as when we were there. Just do the best you can, follow your highest calling. That's about all I can tell you. And then I asked, what about the Greater Reality Living book? Is there anything we're missing? I told them the LIVES formula, what I've just told you, but I told them very briefly, of course. And they said, that's it. You just answered your first question, suggesting that this formula, what I've shared with you, is sufficient and can make the change, especially as more and more people do that, starting with you. We need all hands on deck. So, to learn more about this topic, read the following articles and start taking relevant action steps. Number 14, Heaven and Hell, what are they really? Number 20, Discerning your inner wisdom. 21, Identify and fulfill your highest purposes. 108, Higher energies, emotions, and ways of being. And 119, 11 ways to make yourself and our world better. I also suggest that you use the following audio programs to help you reach the goals of this topic. First, the Identify and Fulfill Your Purposes and Create the Greatest Life You Have Envisioned audio. And these are all available under Shop at soulproof.com. So that'll help you plan how to better yourself, help others in our world. Also, the Ask Your Soul, Angels, and God technique. Again, deep relaxation, turning down the brain, allowing you to get in touch with your inner wisdom, and there's that of your spiritual support team to look at each aspect of your life and how to improve that. And then the life review technique, and this is the closest you can get. In other words, if you were to pass on the day, part of what you likely experience would be a life review. We know this from tens of thousands of documented near-death experiences, that one of the most transformative parts of a near-death experience is where a person who's recently or who is clinically dead and visiting the light met with their guides, their angels, and so on, and they have a life review, which, just as the name said, is like sitting in front of a TV screen and you have a DVD player or whatever, and you can review key parts of your life. Where did you do really well and rise to the occasion, take the higher path? And where did you not do so well? You not only see but feel what you did, how it affected others, the ripples of that. And this isn't punitive, but rather it's instructional, educational, because when you see and feel firsthand what it's like when you hurt others, then that helps you realize that's something I shouldn't do and won't do in the future. With this life review technique, you can consider how to best fine-tune each aspect of how you're living now to become more aware of what amends you need to make for times when you didn't do so well. Forgive yourself and others. And again, you can use the love, acceptance, and forgiveness technique to help you do that. You create a new template versus saying, oh boy, when I was younger, I did something horrible. Because if you, with your full heart and mind, focus on this life review, then the energy of that can become the new energy. What you would have done, what you would do now, knowing what you know now, given how you are now. And so that actually can replace the past. Things are forgiven, things are updated and upgraded. It's very powerful, and I talk about that more in the article about the life review technique. And should I share that? And I discussed that more in article number 45, and then in the introductory track of the audio. And finally, by using this technique, you will make your actual life review after your body dies a work of art. So this is the end of topic number 7. Share your special talents and make our world a better place. Thank you for using it fully and sharing with others. Let it shine.